And we're just having a conversation. But I came in a little late, and they were talking about this issue called money. They're talking about money. And they're talking about how they're struggling with giving. I said, y'all know me and y'all struggling with giving for real? Dudes that I'm close to struggling with giving? I felt like Jesus and the disciples. I said, really? I said, all right, let's talk about it. So I said, what's wrong? What y'all struggling with? Earlier in the week, Jada had told me, Jada said, hey man, you know what? I think that you're missing a part of what the people in this church struggle with. I said, no, I'm not. I said, I know why they don't give. They're greedy, and they fearful, and they have all these what-if questions. He said, yeah, all that's true, but there's another part that you're missing. I said, what's that? Jada said, really, or what we scared of, this Jada, is what these people going to do with the money after we give. She said, because what we've seen is preachers of LA. That's what we've seen. Preachers of LA. They walking around bling bling, driving around bling bling, living bling bling houses, chilling with God's money. She says, no, the reason they don't give is because they got baggage with what they've seen in the past. And so they're struggling with that. I said, really? She says, yes. I said, tell me more. She said, you know what else they're struggling with? The fact that in other churches, they've given and building funds for 40 years. And ain't gnarly a building. She said, no. What they struggle with is that they see some of these pastors, when they give money to one person, it don't go for the designated thing that said it was going to go for. She said, that's their issue. They got baggage. To which I said, isn't that funny how this one only works when it comes to money? I said, because when somebody breaks their heart, they all right, well, they don't stop loving, they go find somebody else to love. But the baggage of the past hurt don't hurt them. They go find somebody else. But when it comes to something that they can see an immediate benefit, they say, I ain't doing it, don't trust none of y'all. So get back to my boys. So my boys said, Pastor, I'm just struggling, man, because, oh no, man. You know, one of them said, well, I just start getting stuff. Anybody else in my family married? I mean, get a house and all that. And I'm just and you want me to just get my stuff, and now you telling me God might want me to give up my stuff? Hey, what's up with that? I'm the first person to do this, and now I just must give it up? What's up with that? Then I said, well, I don't have a whole lot. And you want me to give up what I don't have? And then one of them said, listen, I made a vow, I ain't going to be broke again. And you or God ain't going to make me broke. Anybody out here? Do you hear how people of faith are thinking? For an hour and 15 minutes, I had to contend every ball they toss up. And I said, really? Is this how you think? Which was a representation of our church. So I said, oh no, I got to stay here a little longer. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So I got me a series I'm going to do now on money. Praise God. Tell my boys thank you. It's there for me. But a couple other things happened this week. Pastor Matt called me and said, hey, Pastor Conway, he was almost crying, and he's not a crier. So I'm like, dude, what's up? You all right? You all right? And Pastor Matt says, yeah, somebody just gave, on Wednesday, somebody just gave their commitment, and somebody just gave their first fruits. And I said, but dude, it was somebody who don't have no money. And so she's had, benevolence from us, and we had to give us money. And she only been here about 4 months, but she gave a check for $400. Saying, I don't have a lot, but here's all I got. And Pastor Matt said, really? And here's her words. She says, for the last 4 months, my life has been so transformed. If God will do this with me in Louisville, then I must pass that forward so somebody in Prosper can be blessed like I just got blessed. Don't clap. You're clapping at the wrong time. Don't clap. Number 2. Second story. This one you're not going to clap at. I got a text this week. God just teed up all these illustrations for me. A young lady texted me and said, hey, Pastor, I'm struggling with God right now. Why are you telling me? You and God do your thing. Well, I'm just struggling because he's asking me to give something and I'm not going to give it. Okay, I mean, you're good. You're in God. Well, he asked me to give $10,000 and I don't want to give it. No, calm down. So then she said, but that's not what I'm mad for. I said, what you mad about? I'm mad because, here's where you go. Don't calm down because you don't know when to clap. I'm mad because he's asking me to give $10,000 that I had earmarked for my son's college. The plot thickens. Let me tell you what you're struggling with right now. There's a tension between wisdom and irrational faith. That's the tension. You see, you should have clapped when I said, no, don't clap, no, it's late. You should have clapped when I said, she said that she was wrestling with God to give this. Because immediately I wanted to text her back and say, don't do that. But then it dawned on me, how dare me stop the wrestling of God with her? No, let me tell you the tension that every one of us, in an affluent society, this is our tension. Wisdom is what got you where you are. You saved, you sacrificed, you didn't get this so that you could have this. You invested, you were wise, which is why you got what you got today. And then God in all his audacity says, give it up. And the question now is, do I trust God? Or do I trust what I can see? That's the tension of this generation. Let me introduce some people to you. Abraham, give your son, your only son. Where's that generation of believers in this culture? It don't make no sense at all. Irrational, foolish, stupid. Give your son, Abraham. All of us in here would say, not my son. I don't care what you say, Jesus, not my son. That's irrational. That's because you serve a God that you can put in a box. That's because you serve a God that you can control. That's because you serve a God that you can manipulate. And so he's given you this wisdom. And you cannot fathom with all your wisdom that he would say, do you trust your bank account or do you trust me? Give it. Let me see what you would do. When she said, Pastor, I'm struggling, I failed it too. I should have said, girl, I can't wait to see what God's going to do. You better give it. Girl, you better give it quick because I can't wait to see what. And then on Thursday, God showed me something I'm going to teach you today. Do not clap because you missed the time to clap. So on Thursday, me and Jade have been wrestling with this. How much should we give? And so we decided we should give, right? And so we give more than we've ever given, double what we give for the Louisville campus. And so we said, all right. So then I had to give my first fruits. So I was struggling, so I wanted it out of my account quick. So I couldn't wait till Sunday because I didn't know if the devil would change my mind. So I give it quick just to get it out of my account. Get out of my account. God bless you. See you later. So on Thursday, I was chilling because it was out. And the church changed it quick too, by the way. Anyways, it was out of my account. Then I had to go to town on Friday. I had to go to preach at this conference, and they wanted me to be the closing speaker. It's a true story. They wanted me to be the closing speaker. I'm like, man, I'm not that good. You don't want me to do that? Yeah. Well, yeah. And so I flew up to Chicago, about 700, 800 pastors there, and they wanted me to talk. So I said, all right. And then right before I was supposed to go out, they said, hey, can you do a book signing of your leadership book when you finish? I said, I mean, listen, man, I'm not that kind of guy. I don't care. Just let them buy it. If they like it, if they don't, I'm good. They said, no. We want you to like it because we think they're going to love what you got to say. And everybody's going to want more of you that they can take with them when they can't take you. So I said, I don't want to do that. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm good. I don't. And they said, no, please. I said, okay. And there's a lady that was speaking before me. Everything I'm about to say is important. There's a lady that was speaking before me. And I said, hey, I'll do it if she does it too. Well, there's only really room for one. I said, I'll do it if this lady right here gets excited too. So there's two people, and it don't seem awkward like I'm a prima donna. It just seems like, everybody come on out. And so that's what I did, right? And they said, well, okay. So then she wrote like 5 books. I only wrote this one, right? So she came, and so it was both of us out there. So, she spoke, then I spoke right after her, and they were like, okay, he did all right. And then they came up, and there was this long line. Listen to me. Don't mess with God. So I just finished. I'm signing. Yeah, thanks so much. They come out and people idea. Oh my gosh, you changed my life. Oh my gosh. Woo! What are you doing? All that. And I said, oh yeah. God bless you. God bless you. Right? So we're almost done. And then this lady comes, a real dignified lady, comes around from that side. The other lady's right here. True story. Comes around and she says, excuse me, sir. I've never met you before. But as you were speaking today, I got 3 books out of what you just said. You don't know me, listen now, but I am her publisher. And I am a part of one of the largest publishing firms in the country. And I got 3 books out of what you just said. And I was wondering if we could begin negotiations of about how we can get you to write these 3 books based on what you just said. Don't clap, you missed it. It was earlier. It was on Thursday that you should have clapped, but you didn't clap. You only want to hear the fruit. Only when God delivers do you want to clap. You don't want to clap when you're supposed to sow that seed. That's not the time you want to clap. You just want to clap when he comes through and begins to show you what he can do. That's because we have little faith. And he says, without faith, it's impossible to please me. But you only want to clap when you see the manifestation of what God said. No, by the way, I don't even know if that's going to come through. The only reason for it was good for me, it was that God showed me, fool, in 24 hours, I can give you literally 10 times what you think you sacrificed. I said, don't clap. What y'all clapping for? You only want it on the good side. Don't fool with the creator of the world. This is a God that we have, and we must tear it down. We must trust that if he prompts you to give, but the problem is because of wisdom, he can't prompt you because you have a paradigm that does not allow for God. That's the problem. The tension that we wrestle with is this idea of wisdom. I got to plan well. I got to make sure I save well. I got to make sure I prepare for the future well. I got to make sure. Who say you're going to have a future? Y'all finna let me sit down and preach, right? Are you all right today? I'm getting a little mad at these folk right here, Doc. You good? All right. You must have an issue while I sit beside you. Praise God. Anyways, here's the tension. Do y'all see it? Y'all see it? Wisdom, I have planned myself here, and irrational faith, but God. How do we wrestle with that? Ladies and gentlemen, your kids need to see that you don't know how it's going to work out, but God. Once the voice is clear, your job is to respond to the voice. But you must make sure you can hear the voice, because too many of us put ourselves in glass houses so that God can't even get through to you. And that's the danger of this culture. And I am begging you, I am asking God to raise up a generation that's generous. Here is why the millennial generation are leaving the church. So don't miss this. Please don't miss it. The millennial generation is leaving the church. You know why? Because they don't have nothing like you got. But they're saying, and they're looking at our lives, and they're like, you got all of that, and all you're doing is hoarding it and storing it up. Instead of releasing it to the poor, releasing it elsewhere where we have a mission and we want to go do something with all of this that God has blessed us with. But they don't even have a model. They have become so ticked with how we have used resources and abused. You talk about the pastors abusing it? You and I have a tendency to abuse the fact that God has blessed you with so much. So, all right, that's all talk. Let me show you Bible behind it. 4 verses is all you can handle. Them 4 will blow your mind. Come with me. Here we go. We're going to hang out in 2 Corinthians. I started this, but I couldn't dissect it last week. So here we go. Now, if you online, scoot up, because this is good, because it's the word of God. Come here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Read it with me, everybody. Now, this I say, he who will also, and he who will also. 2 kind of people in the house today. You either have a heart, listen, you're either a giver or you're a taker. You're not both. You're either a giver or a taker. Look at your neighbor. Are you a giver or a taker? Don't answer. Look at the other one. Are you a giver or a taker? Here is the test. Here is the test. Here is the test. Come here. Here is the test. Test number 1. You're a taker if you sow sparingly. You don't have to answer it anymore. The text will answer it for you. If you sow sparingly, you're a taker. You're not a giver. Next verse. Next verse. Watch it. It says, each one must do just as he has purpose in his, say it with me, heart. Here we go. Not grudgingly. If you give grudgingly, you're a taker. You're not a giver. Not under compulsion. If you give under compulsion, you're not a giver, you're a taker. He says, here's how you know you're a giver. Go back to verse 6. Verse 6 says, you know you're a taker because God says, he who sows bountifully shall also reap. So if you sow bountifully, then you are a giver. Next one, next verse. He says he loves a cheerful giver. So if you give and you give cheerfully, it means you are a giver and not a taker. So in your own heart, determine which one you are. Because the truth is, for many of us, we be kicking and screaming while giving. So most of us are. Now I want you to watch what he says, because this is fascinating how he lays this out. Watch what God says. Go in your notes, page on the right, go open it to the middle, and look at the right page. I'm going to give you 3 tests you get every single week. 3. If you don't have a handout, raise your hand and we'll get one to you. I want you to watch what he says. Next verse, verse number 8. Here we go. Everybody, if you're online, scoot up, read this with me, please. Everybody, and is to make so that always all in you may an abundance for every, say this phrase with me. The reason you have an abundance is for good. The reason you have more than enough is for. Here's what he says. Who's supplying all of this? That's your source. God says. First test, I'm able and I will make all grace abound to you. In other words, everything in your life is because of grace. Everything. It's not because of how good you are, how smart you are, you're educated. It's everything in your life is all because of grace. So that always having, say this phrase with me right here, all in everything. In other words, God's first test is the test of need. The test of need. God says, I shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory. That's what he says. There is not a need that you will have that I don't supply. He says, that's what I do. I supply the needs of my people. Let me show you what I mean, because some of you still don't get it. God says, I have an endless supply. Endless. He says, I will make sure you, whatever need you have, I'll make sure your needs are met. So God says, hey, listen, here's what I'm going to do. You have a need? Need met. God bless you. Need met. Just enough. And many of you pass this test. Because many of you know the Bible verses. I ain't never seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread. I'm like, yes, won't he do it? For my God shall supply all my needs according to his riches in glory. And you get your praise on. Can I show you the problem? Yeah, he says, I'm going to meet all your needs. Can I show you the problem? Then you say, well, God, I got some more needs because I want to upgrade. Well, God, without asking you, let me buy a bigger house, a bigger car. And so, God, I got some more needs. And then you go back to God. God, can you please meet my needs? Because my needs have grown. I went from South Dallas to now North Dallas. And so, God, I need some more needs met. Don't clap. You're clapping at the wrong time. Y'all don't know how to clap. Let me show you why we rob God. Malachi chapter 3. Go to your notes. Page on the left-hand side. Here you go. Whenever your income increases and your lifestyle does not increase, it means you have no margin. Look at your notes. You'll see the chart there. Whenever, look at the notes. Whenever your income, that's the top line, increases, what we have a tendency to do is to increase our lifestyle with it. And when we increase our lifestyle, that's why we have no margin. When you have no margin, you have nothing to give. So now you want to rob God when he's the one that gave you the first income and the second income, but you're lusting after what the Joneses have made you increase your lifestyle to compensate with the income he's given you. Therein lies our problem, ladies and gentlemen. You rob God, you get stressed out, your family is stressed out because now you're fighting over not having enough money. You're fighting over what she wants to do and what you want to do. Why? Because you have increased your lifestyle commensurate with your income. No, you got to ask God first. Thanks for the increase, God. What do you want me to do with that increase? And you must make sure you have margin. Because if you have no margin, you're going to be stressed out emotionally, physically, relationally, and in your finances. You're going to be stressed out. So he says, this is the tension. Income, lifestyle. He wants you, when your income increases, let your lifestyle stay at a certain place so that you have margin. So now, when God wants his own money, you have money to give to him. But you don't do that because you love yourself too much. And you and I, not just you and me too. And because we don't even ask God, and it's his money. We are simply stewards. We're not owners. Where is the generation of believers that will just trust God with this stuff? It's not there. No, the Bible gets better. Because watch what he does now. He says, hey man, I promise you that I'm going to meet, say it with me, your needs. That's what I promise you I'll meet. I'm going to meet your needs. In light of that, I will give you all sufficiency so that every need you have will be met. Watch the verse now. The verse continues. Verse number 8. Here's what it says. It says this. It says, God is the one who's able to make all grace abound so that always having all sufficiency, say this word with me, which means there will not be a need that you have that he don't meet. But he continues. He said, for some of you, see, this story, most of the world stop right here. Because all they're trying to get is water, food, shelter. That's all they're trying to get. Oh, not so in Collin, Denton County, and all the way y'all in line live. Not so with y'all. He will bless you more. Because he says, you may have an abundance. That means more than enough. An abundance. Why is he giving you abundance? Read the Bible. For every good deed, he does not give it to you primarily for you. That's where they taught us wrong. Here's what he says. Whenever I give you more than enough, you must ask the question, why did you give me more than enough? You must look around and say, God, is there somebody else who has a need that you want me to meet? Because the government, listen everybody, is going to take theirs. The government is going to be like, give me that. You don't even know where it goes. You don't know what it does. You just know it's splattered everywhere. Can I get a witness, somebody? Right, you love to don't clap. You're clapping at the wrong time again. Anyways, then he says, then you and I say, well, we're wise and we're responsible. So we say, well, God, I need to give you some. So there you go, because I'm a godly Christian. So I need to give you some. Okay. This week you've been real good. And then he said, well, I got to take care of my 401k because I'm responsible and I'm one. Then I got to invest a little more. And then I got to take care of the school bills for the kids. And then I got to go do a little plastic surgery. And then I got to do a little something augmentation. And then I got to make sure I have all the stuff I have, and then you know them crazy family members, they going to beg me for something, and I got to give them. So, and no time have you yet considered God. By the way, he's the one that owns it all. He's the one that has given you it all. He's the one that can stop it anytime he wants, and you have never considered asking him, why has he given you more than enough? Because somebody taught you wrong. He says, before you dare look at anybody else to give them anything, you should ask me, God, what do you want me to do with this? Who's teaching us this nonsense? God, it's yours, not mine. I'm just a manager. I'm not a cul-de-sac, God. It's not going to stop with me. I'm a conduit for your blessings. So as you give me, I will ask and you respond. And you're wise. Just don't let the wisdom he gave you turn you into a cul-de-sac. So it stops with you. Just don't do it. Watch it. It gets better. It gets better. It gets better. It gets so good. It gets so good. That's the second level. There's a third. Come here. There's a third. Ooh, you're going to run out of the building on this one. Next verse. Next verse. Next verse. As it is written, watch this now. He, God, scattered abroad. Psalm 119, verse 9. He gave to the poor. Whoa. I want you to watch what God's doing. God's a giver. Say it with me. God's a giver. Two more times. God's a giver. One more time. God's a giver. Well, you got some poor people whose needs ain't met yet. So he has to meet those needs. Now, the way he likes it is he wants to use you, since he's blessed you with more than enough. Your needs are met. He wants to use you to help them meet their needs. But sometimes your head's so tough, God says, now listen, if you walk in disobedience, I'm not going to use you. But I'm going to still meet their needs because I promised them I'll meet their needs. So God says, listen, he scattered abroad, he gave to the poor, his righteousness, which means generosity, will endure forever. Because in giving to the poor, his righteousness never ends because God gets glory and the person who gives gets joy. Watch the text now. This is the verse I have tried to get to. Here we go. Verse number 10. Now he who supplies, say this word with me. This is a different, you're going to see it again, but it don't mean the same thing. Same word in English, different word in the Greek language. Every now and again, I got to show you that I went to school. I don't always do it, but I did go to school. So I'm going to show you a little bit that I went to school. Okay, here we go. He who supplies seed to the sower and bread. God don't make bread. No, he gives you seed and you get to work to make bread. So he says, this is your needs. So he says he gives you seed to the sower and bread for food. He gives you seed to the sower, and then when you sow the seed is going to bear fruit. It's going to come up. It's going to be wheat. You're going to get the wheat. You're going to get it, add a little bit of water with it. It's going to turn to flour. You're going to need the flour. You're going to put it in the oven. It's going to bake, and you're going to have bread. That's why the Bible says if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. Because he gives you the seed, but you got to work the seed he gave you so you can have your needs met. That's why when some of you come for money from the church, we're not going to do it, because if we think you don't want to work, then we're not going to give you money, because God might be disciplining you, and we're not going to allow you to miss God's discipline because we walking in disobedience. Ain't the Bible good? It's good. It's good. It's good. It get better. Good. It get better. Get better. Get better. So that's the first seed. He said, seed to the sower and bread for food. You got to work it to get there. Then he says something profound. He says, same, he, God, will, say this word with me, supply. Most important word in all the passage, supply. It means to choreograph. It means God's going to be working in the background to create some stuff for you. Watch the text. He will supply, but not just supply, he's going to choreograph, and he will, your seed, different word. Sperma, poran. Sperma, there's life in the seed. Poran, there's no life in the seed. Watch the text. He says, but it's the second seed that he's going to choreograph, and he's going to multiply this second seed. How do you get this second seed? The first one he gave you. The first seed he gave to you, and you got to sow it. When you get a seed, there are two things that happen to it. You sow it, and when you get it sown, two things. Some of it you turn for your own self to meet your needs. The rest of it, you are to invest it in God's kingdom. Watch the text. He says, the seed that God gives you, he's going to bless you, and he's going to bless you with more than enough. And you're going to have so much, it's going to be overflowing. And you're going to be like, won't he do it, won't he do it, won't he do it, won't he do it? Now, here's the problem with Collin County and affluent societies. Here's the problem. The problem is that whatever you keep, that seed is not multiplied. So it will not be multiplied, and he will not choreograph, because it's the seed you kept. If you keep it, then he don't have it to multiply. If you keep it, he don't have it to choreograph and make something incredible out of nothing. It is until you actually do what God does. Watch the action. Until you do what God does. What's God do? He pours it out. It's not until you pour it out that he says, thank you, I will take this poran, and now I will choreograph it, and I will multiply it to do things that you have never seen before. The problem with this generation is we don't trust God enough that he can do more with what we give than we can even think of or imagine. So this bowl for you and many of us is absolutely empty because we don't have faith enough to trust him that he and his kingdom can do more with it, which is why you want to keep your tenth. You want to keep it because you do not have the faith that if you put it in this last bowl, God will choreograph and multiply it to do crazy, amazing things for his kingdom and for his glory. That's why the author says, listen, God is most glorified in you, in me. God is most satisfied. No, God is most, no, I forgot what I was going to say. God is most glorified in me when I am most satisfied in him. Say that with me. God is most glorified in me when I am most satisfied in him. When is God most glorified in me? When I am doing the action that he does, which is he's a giver. So the more I give, the more joy I get, because it's better to give than to receive. So the more satisfaction I'll have. Listen, and the more other people get what I bless them with, the more they give God glory. So God's going to get glory from my giving, and I'm going to get joy because I'm giving. They're going to give him glory. So he's most glorified in me when I'm most satisfied with him. Come on up here, Don. Let me show you what it looks like now. Let me show you what it looks like. God says, whenever I see you in the position of giving, then you put me, because you look like me, in the position of feeding you while you feed others. Pick it up now, Don. So here's the action. I want you to watch what God does. And I want you to watch when you do it, what God does. You're forcing God's hand. So the more you pour out, now come down, the more he pours in. And it keeps going. Now, if you ever stop, you force God to stop. So you've got to keep pouring out, so now he can keep pouring into who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody taught us wrong, which is why we're takers, which is why we're not givers. And he says the third test is the test of seed. You have the test of need, the test of greed, and now the test of seed. And it is only the seed that you give. That's the one that he choreographs. That's the one that he multiplies. That's the one he does over and above anything you can ask or think. The problem is most of us have an empty, overflowing jar because we don't sow any seed. So here's how we're going to end our time. Let me fill out, oh, you're going to get mad. Let me fill out these things for you because you need these filled out. So let me give you them real quick. Financial margin, here it is. Here's what I want you to do. Issues of financial margin is not income-based. It's based on lifestyle. The reason you don't have a margin is because you allow your lifestyle to be equal to your income. When that happens, listen, you rob God. Oh, this is so good. You hurt yourself and you hurt God. You rob yourself and you rob God. You rob yourself financially, emotionally, relationally. You rob God, so you can't give generously anymore, and you shove God out of your finances. It happens every time. It happens every 1st and 15th. Here's what happens next. I didn't know this with my guys, but they didn't even know what to follow, so we had to show them, just like I'm going to show you now. When you live with margin, this is how you're supposed to live. You give, save, spend. So you never live off of all you got. Too many of us, man, we're living way above our means, and you're hurting yourself. And so, yeah, you get an increase, but you can't get something bigger unless you're still staying at 70. One of the big, so many churches struggle with this, and they struggle with it because they live all the way up to 95%. So when somebody that's a big donor in the church get mad and want to leave the church, they have to beg them to stay and compromise the gospel to please them because they can't live without what they give. Ladies and gentlemen, that hurts everybody. It does. So the church can't do it either. Which is why you can't do it. You know how we had $4 million to pay? I get punished all the while for that. Well, if you can pay $4 million, one of the guys in the group said, well, if you can pay $4 million, you don't need my money. So now you want to punish me for trying to live like God tell us to live. So until we're broke, you don't want to give. Man, we broke. We can't pay the light bill. All right, I get $20. What? You want to wait till we broke to give? Think of your logic, man. It don't make sense. And so all I'm saying is God says, this is the path that I want you to live on. Then they didn't know about giving either. So God says, hey, man, you have to tithe. If you don't believe it, well, I don't think that's Old Testament. Okay, then give more than 10, because if you're under grace, you're going to give more, not less, than what tithers do. Then the offering is, God, this is over and above the tithe that I just want to give to somebody else. And then the last one is the one we just talked about, which is the seed. When he prompts you to give beyond, sacrificially, this one hurts. I need God in my financial life for this to take place. That's when you're sowing a seed. And God says, if this bowl right here does not have anything in it, then you've given me nothing to multiply. You've given me nothing to show you what I can do. And then lastly, he says, here's our intentional giving plan. You want to get ahead of this? You want to set it up for your next generation and for your kids' kids? Here's what he said. Hey, you always give to God first. I wish I could lay this out, and I might do it next week. What he says in the Bible, he says, listen, if you keep the first 10, you can keep all 100 and it will be cursed. If you give me the first 10, then I will bless the last 90. So God says, I can do more with the 90 than you can do with the 100. So I need you to trust me, give me the 10 so that I can release the rest of the 90 to you so that it can be a blessing to you. But we don't think like that because somebody taught us wrong. Number 2, he says, I want you to start where you are and be a percentage giver. The only way you fight greed, the only way you fight abundance is by giving a percentage. God, this is yours, not mine. I want to bring, not give, I want to bring to the storehouse what's already yours. Number 3, you want to increase over the years. You want to say, oh, you know what, God, you've been so good to me. I'm going to give you more than a 10. I'm going to give you 11% next year. 2 years later, God, I'm going to increase it to 13%. God, 2 years later, I'm going to give, you know why you do that? Because you want to teach your heart that I'm like God, I'm a giver. I'm not a taker. And so I'm going to force myself to give more and watch what God does. And then the last one is where God uniquely requests you by prompting through the Holy Spirit. But you have to realize that your wisdom will come against that. So you can't even hear him prompting because you've set up a system that's so safe proof that you don't need God. And for many of us, we're relying on our bank accounts instead of Yahweh God. And he's saying, come on, sometimes I'm going to prompt you to live like you might lose it all. Can I do that? Is that all right, is what he says? And many of you say, no, I don't want to feel that way again. I know what I felt with my mama, so I don't want to feel that way again. And he's saying to you, will you trust me? Will you trust me? Will you raise in your house a generation of kids that trust God? Will you get some news stories and not just make it about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Get some news stories about me. I want you to listen to this song. It's powerful. It's been blessing my soul for the last 2 months. They're going to come back out and they're going to sing it. And all I want you to do while you're there is say to God, God, is money a God for me? Will you deal with my heart as we deal with this one? Take a listen to this song.
Didn't I conquer this last year? And tell me what I missed, 'cause I fear that it's coming back up again. Must be something I ache, some song, some show, some hate. The devil wants to extend the game, free throws. He wants to make another sequel. 'Cause if he has another chance, he feels like he can take my joy, my peace, my faith. See, the devil, he learns from your mistakes, even if you don't. That's how he keeps us in cycles, 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 cycles. But I'm not going in cycles, 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 cycles.
This will end like I win. The enemy will have to lose again. See, I'm a different fighter now, and I have got to thank, 'cause his joy is my strength. See, the devil will learn it's a mistake when I am sure. I'm not going in cycles. I'm not going in cycles. I'm gonna break these cycles. I'm not going in cycles. I'm gonna break these cycles.
Cycles.
I'm gonna break these
cycles.
I'm not going in
cycles. So
help me be free from all of my passions.
see
Your love
is
enough
to make me new and help me in these cycles. me, in these,
cycles,
in these, in these.
cycles,
I need your help in these. Oh,
cycles,
I rebuke him in the name of Jesus.
cycles.
Every cycle,
cycles,
to break every cycle,
cycles,
these generational,
cycles,
these financial,
cycles,
only you can do, you can do.
cycles,
Oh Lord,
cycles.
Ladies and gentlemen, what I want you to do now is, in a moment, if this is an issue for you, if money has a tendency to be a God in your life, like it has a tendency in mine, then in a moment I'm going to ask you to stand. If you want to break this cycle, if you want, when he gives you, to say to God every single time, God, why have you given me more than enough? How can I, where do you want this to go this week? Before I start telling you where I want it to go, God, where do you want it to go? If that's you and you want to break through in this area, then in a moment I'm going to ask you to stand. I don't want you to stand because somebody else is standing. I want you to stand because he's been speaking to you personally. And you want it to be broken in your household. You don't want your kids to experience this. You don't want your kids to only hear Bible stories. You want your kid to hear what he's done for you. You want to hear how he's come through for you. Because when it came to all your planning, all your wisdom, all your insight, all the things you love and you do so well. When God says, I want you to put beside that now irrational faith, that you're willing to say, here you go, God. Here I am. Send me. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're going to do it. And I don't want to clap after you fulfill it. And I see it. I want to clap, God, when you tell me and I walk in obedience and I sow the deed. If that's you, just stand right where you are, please. And let me pray for you. Just stand right where you are and let me say, God, will you help us all? Will you help me, God? Because this is one that I struggle with too. So we all need this one. 10 more seconds. Anybody else? You know God's speaking to you. This is an issue. This is an issue for me. That's you, stand. Father, you see the hearts of your people. First of all, God, thank you for our church that don't get mad when we talk about money, but open up our hearts and say, okay, God, what are you asking me to do? Thank you for a body of believers that are sensitive to your word and not stuck in their own ways and their own thinking. Will you give us some breakthroughs? God, we want to be better in this area because, God, we want to be like you. We're not giving so that you can give us back. We're giving because you're a giver and we want to be like Jesus. Will you raise up a generation of givers in this house? Allow us to be lavishly generous. When somebody comes across and we see a need, God, help us not to even flinch, but to say, here you go. The reason I have more than enough is because the people in my life that need it, I can bless them with. Raise up a generation where that's normative and not the exception. Raise up a generation where kids are saying, Dad, I have a friend at school that has something and I want to meet their need because they don't have. We've got more than enough. Take my toys away, sell my toys so that they can have what they need. Raise up a generation of kids that are generous because mom and dad are generous. When the tension hits between wisdom and faith, help us, God, to hear your voice clearly. And when we do, help us to respond. Break this God in our lives. We pray this for everybody online and for everybody in the house. We pray this in Jesus' name. Everybody said, Will you give God a round of applause, everybody? Come on, we can do better than that. Come on. Come on, everybody. Everybody stand, please. Come on. We can do better than that. Come on. He's been too good. He's been too generous, too merciful, too gracious. He's been great to us. He has been great to this church right here. He really has. If you haven't been on the journey with us, in 9.5 years, I am stunned at what the greatness of our God has done. Men, we're going to have Bible study this week. And then men who have a conference, make sure you go register for that. Number 2, if you have a block as you go out, if you want to talk about it with your kids somewhere, that's fine. But when you go out or as you go out, I want you to drop it in the boxes. If you have a card or a first fruits, you can drop that in the boxes embedded in the wall, or you can give it to somebody outside. And then, hold on, don't move yet. And then if you just want somebody to pray because this is such a struggle for you, don't just go outside. Will you please come up? We'll stay here as long as we can, because we want every person in this house, every person online, to be givers, not takers, because we worship too gracious of our God. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being understanding. God bless. Have a great week in God. See ya.
Last year, tell me what I missed, 'cause I fear that it's coming back up again. Must be something I ate, some song, some show, some hate. The devil wants to extend the game, free throws. And when it ends, he wants to make the sequel. 'Cause if he has another chance, he feels like he can take my joy, my peace, my faith. See, the devil, he learns from your mistakes, even if you don't. That's how he keeps you in cycles, 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 cycles. But I'm not going in cycles, cycles, cycles. This will end like I wanted to. I win. The enemy will have to lose again. See, I'm a different fighter now, and I have got to thank, 'cause his joy is my strength. See, the devil will learn it's a mistake when I am sure, that I'm not going in cycles. I'm not going in cycles. I'm gonna break the years. I'm not going cycles. I'm gonna break these cycles. I'm not going cycles. Cycles. I'm not going in. Oh, so Lord, help me. Please.
Dear Lord, I follow your word when I'm ready for it. That sound crazy, don't it? I'm infatuated with happiness, living in the moment. Black or white is never follow, cause I settle for gray. I live for the day and I'm letting my joy slip away. I've been losing my focus, slowly becoming hopeless. You treat me like I'm yours, I treat me like I'm broken. Father who art in heaven, I have become a weapon, and I backfire far away from your presence. I'm lost, I'm drifting, my heart has been conflicting. I know just what is missing, but I only feel like quitting cause I'm lost. I'm drifting, my heart has been conflicting. It's dark, then it hits me. I fall, but you lift me. Do not be anxious, but in every situation, look up and give thanks to the ruler of these nations. I pray for the days when I embrace the patience and I'll stand on the stage with elation and say, I want a whole lot of more of what you got for me, Lord. I know that you're waiting, sitting at the top for me, Lord. I know you're my solid ground, you're the rock for me, Lord. Heard you got a plan for me and was not for me, Lord. So I'm bowing my head and I'm closing my eyes, but I open my heart so you can open my mind. Lord, I'm bowing my head and I'm closing my eyes, but I open my heart so you can open my mind. I want follow your word like it's optional, only when it's optimal. I walk away and come back when I'm ready, like the prodigal. I'm feeling lifeless, I'm unholy, I'm righteous. I've been praying for sanity, but I'm craving excitement. I don't know why I've been falling onto this track that I'm walking, and I feel bad for ignoring every time that God has been calling. And yeah, I know it's only cause he want the best for me, but decisions that I make only mess up my testimony. I'm lost, I'm drifting, my heart has been conflicting. I know just what is missing, but I only feel like quitting cause I'm lost. I'm drifting, my heart has been conflicting. You tell me that you're with me, you're never gonna forget me. That's the moment I remember. I've been saved by grace, and I've been living, breathing every single day by faith. Your Holy Son is the one who you took up in my place. I'm walking better cause I know I serve a God that's great. I want a whole lot of more of what you got for me, Lord. I know that you're waiting, sitting at the top for me, Lord. I know you're my solid ground, you're the rock for me, Lord. Heard you got a plan for me and was not for me, Lord. So I'm bowing my head and I'm closing my eyes, but I open my heart so you can open my mind. Lord, I'm bowing my head and I'm closing my eyes, but I open my heart so you can open my mind. I want
our worship rise tonight, God. We'll pour our love on you. Break open our box. Give you everything. From here to there, worship is filling the atmosphere, both now and then. Songs of your love will never end. All day and night, as we bow down, our praise will rise inside and down. All that I am will shout, let my worship rise like a sweet perfume. For my love all over you. From here to there, worship is filling the atmosphere. Both now and then. worship rise like a sweet perfume, and I'll pour my love all over you. So let my worship rise like a sweet perfume. I'll pour my love all over you, all over you, all over you, all over you. Come on, go ahead and start offering your worship now, from your heart to his ear. Give it now. You're worthy now. Come on, tell 'em. Forever. Forever. Worship will rise. Now forever. Be glorified. Forever. All of my worship. Forever. Be glorified, Jesus. Come on, give it to him now. Everybody say, let my worship rise like a sweet perfume. Now pour my love all over you. Let my worship rise like a sweet perfume. I'll pour my love all over you, all over you, all over you, all over you. Now pour my love all over. I pour my love all over you. I pour my love all over you. God sings over us tonight, and he says that I'll pour my love. May feel alone, but watch me pour my love. Oh Lord, open up and let me in. Now pour my love. Open the windows of heaven. feel every void. At my city, every void. I feel every